Good morning, everyone. It's Yana Martins here, and our 17th episode of Reboot Your Tech Mind, a place for creating some positive habits. So, in this episode, Orod will talk us through a smarter to-do list, emphasizing the power of visualizing your workload to boost productivity. So, Orod will share his personal techniques for organizing and visualizing his week, illustrating how this strategy can transform a chaotic schedule into streamlined workflow. So hopefully you'll get some practical tips to help you maximize your efficiency and achieve your goals with a smarter approach to task management. So just quickly reminding you that we're getting together every Tuesday morning, 7:45 a.m. for a quick practical tips for kickstart your day in the tech world. And in each episode, we'll be focusing on a range of different exercises, including goal setting, stress management, productivity hacks, positive affirmation, breathing, mindfulness, and so on. So reducing stress, stay motivated, enhancing productivity. So we got you covered here. So anyway, without any further delays, passing on to Orod, please.
Thanks, Yana, and good morning, everyone. I am Orod Semsarzadeh, director and trainer at Be Agile Academy. We are specialized in Kanban courses and train individuals as well as organization how to manage their work in this really, really fast time that we living in. And today, I want to talk a little bit about how we can manage our work because we live in a world that we have a lot of expectation from ourselves, and also other people have lots of expectation from ourselves. So there are quite a lot of demands come to us. But the thing is, the only thing is fixed in this world is time and our capacity. So we know that always demand is more than our capacity. So what we need to do is to try what we can do to manage and balance between demand and capacity. So when the demand is too much and more than our capacity, what we normally do is we do a little bit of everything. And what happens is that we feel that we always utilize, we always busy, but we underachieved. We don't achieve anything. At the end of the day, you look and say, okay, I was busy for 10 hours. I went to so many meetings, but what I actually achieved, if I've done anything or not. And because we underachieved, we feel stressed. So I want to share my experience, and this is something, and I talk to many organizations and many teams and many individuals, and this is what I've done personally when COVID started. Because when COVID started, I had too much time and I was like, I'm just wasting a lot of time. I'm watching a lot of things on Netflix. So, what can I do to manage my time better? So, today we're going to talk a little bit about personal Kanban. It's a very simple tools that help us to visualize our work first, help us to prioritize so we can focus on what actually has priority and matter to us now, and focus to finish the work before we start something else. So rather than do a little bit of everything, what we want to achieve is, okay, what is the most important things for me? Get it done, go to the next one. Okay. And this small picture here, this is the board behind me, and that's my personal Kanban. And I'll explain how to do it. So the first thing you need to do is to define what type of work you want to do. So for example, for myself, I had some expedite work, right? So things that I have to do very quickly, right? The work that can't wait. For example, I got flat tire. I have to change it. Regardless how busy I am, I have to do it. I also wanted to spend a little bit time on some personal fun activity, go to gym, catch up with my friends. I also, realized that there are some work that I have to do, but I don't like to do them, and wanted to spend some time with family, go out with them and stuff like that. And I also need to spend some time on extra work, so not the direct work for clients, for example this interview with you and things like that. And also I wanted to uh, learn something frequently, right? So you can define your work uh, any way that works for you. You can say, I have some difficult work, I have some easy work, I have some extra easy work, or I need to do some admin work, I need to do my tax, I have some meetings, I need to make some phone call, or I do some grocery. So basically, based on your need, you identify the high category of the work that you want to do. If you don't want to do it, you can say, I have one category, and that can be everything. Then you need to design a very simple board. I would recommend not to make it too complex, because this is something you every day you want to use it, so it needs to be easily readable and manageable. If you put so many columns, then it's an overhead itself. We don't want to add overhead. What we want to do is reduce the overhead. And then you need to say, all right, so first of all, everything goes to your first column, the list or to do or whatever, and then started whatever you plan to do, and then when completed. The next step is to define how long you want to spend on the work that you started, right? So in my case, I wanted to plan for 2 weeks. You can say this is for 1 week, or it's just the daily personal board. So whatever goes to started needs to be done within a day. And then you create your swim lane, you put the category, and as I said, if you have only one category, then you probably need one swim lane, and then you put all the work that you know in the list, and you start prioritizing them. Then you need to decide, and this is very important, because time is fixed, everything else is variable, right? So what we need to do is, how much work item I want to start, how much work or time I want to spend with my family, how many uh, book or article I want to read. So for example, I say, okay, I want to have 2 works, extra work, and 3 family activity, and 1, for example, reading. And then you pick the highest priority of the work, anything that must be done within your time frame. For example, in my case, 2 weeks. If it's a daily, you can say, these are what I have to do today. And then you focus and start getting them done. So if you realize that at this stage, I need to work on something else, right? One of those red cards, because you reach your limit, then you need to wait until that work is done. When it's done, then you can pull the next work, right? And what I would suggest is only focus on the started one, right? Maybe have a quick look at the to-do list, but don't spend too much on them. Even if they're important, they're not that important and today, right now, right? Maybe next few days they become more important, but now just focus on whatever it's in started. To-do list, forget about it completely. Some people might say, okay, it's difficult for me to limit per swim lane. So you can say, all right, 5 work in total. It doesn't matter which type of work. I don't want to do more than 5, right? And these numbers, you can start with just some random number and see how it works. Sometimes you might say, okay, 5 is not enough, I can do 10 works, or 10 is too much, I can do 7, and move them a little bit. But the thing is, if you spend too much on, for example, family, then it will impact on your learning and other things. So it's important to manage your time and spread your time, between different types of work. There are some work that very urgently needs to be done, so it's a good practice to leave one swim lane for those kind of work. But the thing is, you need to make sure that don't have too much of those unplanned urgent work. If you have too much, then probably they can be another category in your life. Yeah. So another question that people ask is how much information I need on each car. So I would suggest keep it as simple as possible. So you just need a title, maybe a short description, when you started, and if there is any due date. So I will show you one of the cards that I have. That's for today, right? So this is Reboot with Yana 7:30, and actually it was 7:45 at Tuesday 11th of June, right? Very simple. So when I look at my board, I know that okay, I need to do it today 7:30 or whatever. When it's done, move it to done, and that's it, right? Just keep it simple. If you use a daily board, then probably you don't need due date because the due is today. And a very quick takeaway. So first, visualize everything. Understand. And why visualize? Because when you see how much work you have, you can't unsee them, right? And that's quite important. My first experience was about 10 years ago, and I didn't really use the Kanban board. So I just wrote everything that I had to do a day on a piece of paper. And when I've done it, I realized that I have to do like around 20 works, I remember. And I was like, okay, that's why I'm very busy, you know. So when you write it down, it helps you to understand how much you need to do. Then understand that your capacity is limited, the time is limited. You can't do everything. So focus on the most important one, finish it, then go to the second task, right? And keep this board as simple as possible. And also make sure that when you finish something, take a break, celebrate a little bit, and have some fun. Before we finish, I also want to show you another board. So you have no limitation. You can be as crazy and as creative as possible. So this is what I've done for my daughter. Okay. So every day she was like, oh, you know, I have so many things to do. I have piano, I have this and that, and homework. So she didn't know, you know, how to manage her work. So we basically created this board. So we have day, each column represents a day, and there are some slots. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things that she can do every day, right? So she can pick what she want to do, right? So for example, we have some reading, some practice and clock and piano and stuff like that. When she finish, okay, I've done piano, done, right? Very simple. Even a 5-year-old, 6-year-old kid can understand it and help her to manage her work. Thanks,
Yeah,
Yana. Over
maybe
to you.
maybe sometimes we can start with that first one with the stickers. That will be great before we move to
Yeah. So another
to the big
thing
one.
that some people ask is because when you have a physical board, it's very easy. But people ask, okay, what about digital board, and what about is there any tools that I can use on my phone? So the simple one is Task application on iPhone. There are a few other tools. None of them are actually really helpful or easily being used, but there are quite a lot of app that you can do. But I think most of us, at least in Australia in these days, work from home. So I would say just try with something simple, some physical board, put it next to yourself so you can see every day, and hopefully that helps.
Yeah, it's still something exciting about actually moving physical cards on the board
Yeah, it's fun.
when you actually done something.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
I move my reboot card to done because we almost finished.
yeah.
Time
It's
to
perfect.
celebrate.
Yes, and I think it's quite important to experiment what works for you. Like if a one day works for you, 1 week, 2 weeks. I think I'm always experimenting with my to-do list and trying like, different things.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I need to do the board as well. So I've been, thinking about the board for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe next time I do reboot, I'll put the board here so that
Yeah.
guy.
And another
We'll see.
very common mistake that I realized, especially when you work remotely, people say, "Okay, I'm working for 8 hours," and then they book 8 meetings, each 1 hour, back to back, right? So always also think about the transaction time. So yes, you go to the meeting, but do you need to be prepared? Do you need to write some note about it? So always give yourself a little bit buffer, uh, and don't book yourself like back to back every day. Maybe 1 hour and then half an hour break to be prepared for the next one. Go to the bathroom, have some coffee and stuff like that.
Yeah, 55 minutes meetings. Yes. Yes, guys. And this is our 15 minutes reboot on Tuesday morning. So obviously, if you're enjoying our discussion, please make sure to like this video, and maybe just send it to one person. Send it to one person who really needs to implement it in their lives. And make sure to join us every Tuesday to get a dose of positive vibes and helpful tips. James is saying hi. Thank you, guys. Thank you, James, for saying hi to us here. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this morning. You could also join my Wednesday discussions on IT career in Australia at 5:30 p.m. And of course, all these things, subscribe, share, blah, blah, blah. You know the drill. Thank you so much, Orod. And
Thank you.
I'll see you next time.
See ya.
Thank you.